All right, hi everybody. Welcome to today's live webinar with myself, Gavin Holmes. I'll introduce myself properly in a minute for those of you that are new. It is today the 31st of July 2018, and what a great month it's been for the trading community. Lots of things happening, lots of things going on in the markets. They certainly haven't been flat like sometimes you see in July. They've been very, very active. And today what I want to talk to you about is how to find trade setups using Trade Guider. So I'm actually going to talk about trade setups and how these setups are alerted to, so you can see this for yourself. I'm going to use a few examples, but the main one I'm going to focus on is one that was triggered early this morning, and it was on Bitcoin, and I'm going to show you that in MT5. I was using the MT5 software. It will also work as well in MT4 as well, which I know is a very popular platform. The only difference between the two is the timeframes that you can use with MT5 seem to be a little bit more user-friendly. You can use smaller time frames. And today I was actually monitoring the 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute, 4 minute, 5 minute charts to see when the distribution began to happen. And it was very obvious, as I'm going to show you, and I shall teach you today. Before I start, because we trade live accounts here, I want to read the important disclaimer to you. Trading stocks, options on stocks, futures, options on futures, and retail off-exchange foreign currency transactions, Forex, and I'm going to add to this, and cryptocurrencies, because quite a lot of people are now starting to trade cryptos, involves substantial risk of loss. It's not suitable for all investors. Past performance, whether actual or indicated by historical tests of strategies, is no guarantee of future performance or success. There is a possibility that you may sustain a loss equal to or greater than your entire investment, regardless of which asset class you trade, equities, options, futures, or Forex. Therefore, you should not invest or risk money that you cannot afford to lose. This is me. I'm your presenter today. For those of you who are watching on YouTube, my name is Gavin Holmes, author of Trading in the Shadow of the Smart Money and the Complete Volume Spread Analysis System Explained. I'm the head trader at Wyckoff Williams Investment Portfolio Hedge Fund. And we're working at the moment very closely with our good friends over at the Gibraltar Stock Exchange, which is very likely where I'm going to be situated for some of my year anyway. I'm not moving there permanently, but I have a very good relationship with the guys there, and I'll tell you more about that in a minute because it's very pertinent and relevant to what I'm going to teach you today. Razwan, hello, good to see you as well. So just to tell you a bit about my background, I'm not from a financial background at all. I'm now 51 years old, but I started my career with the Hampshire Constabulary, which is in the United Kingdom here. And I currently reside, having lived in Chicago for 15 years, in the New Forest National Park, for those of you that know it, in a lovely village town called Lymington, right on the coast. But I was very fortunate 18 years ago, and it's nearly going to be Trade Guider's 18th birthday, which is incredible. I can't believe that's coming up so quick. But we've been around. We brought the company from this man, Tom George Williams, who taught me to trade, taught me pretty much everything I knew. He passed away, unfortunately, in 2016. But Tom was the inventor of something called volume spread analysis, which is basically teaching traders, retail traders, and professionals as well, how to read the chart correctly to identify when the market is being distributed, which means there's shorting opportunities, this is what happened today in the coin, or accumulated, which means the market's being bought and it's an opportunity to buy it. The system I'm going to show you today works for stocks, futures, Forex, and commodities, and it works for cryptocurrencies extremely well, as you're about to see. A lot of questions have come in to us as a business about trading the different cryptos that are out there. Does it work with VSA? All of these questions I'm going to answer today. I'm sorry if I haven't emailed you back. I'm extremely busy at the moment, but I'm going to cover in this seminar all of the questions that I've printed out here about the crypto world, and also how we can relate what's moving in the cryptos, which are very volatile at the moment, to what's happening sometimes in gold and some of the US dollar movement, because I'm going to be doing a comparison of Bitcoin versus US dollar here today. But we launched this piece of software that I'm about to show you in Chicago, at the Chicago Mercantile Exchange headquarters in 2016. And it's been developed from that point forward with lots of features to help the trader to find trades. And that's really what I'm going to show you today. So to give you a little bit of background, first of all, I'm going to give you this document at the end. So don't worry, you'll get a copy of this so you can go away and read it at your leisure, because there's a lot of information in it. And I'll give you the full version so you can actually see some of the things that this software goes and finds. So it says background. When I first met Tom Williams in the year 2000 and began to take an interest in the financial markets, Tom made a statement I'll never forget. He said, "Gav, the fact that you know absolutely nothing about trading and investing and have no preconceived ideas will make you an excellent student for me to teach. And one day you'll be a great success in this business." Looking back, it has been a great journey and continues to be so. But before Tom passed away in 2016, he had a wish. He said, the biggest danger to a human being trading and investing in the markets is actually themselves. We, being Trade Guider, need to create an automated trading system that takes much of the analysis away from the human being and let the computer do the work. A computer does not have flaws in its logic, he said. Tom was describing to me what was in his mind. An automated volume spread analysis trading system that found trade setups based on the key principles of Wyckoff and computerized by Tom. And in this document is a complete explanation of the volume spread analysis method and what we teach. This trading system would intuitively trade alongside and in harmony with what I call the smart money players who move and manipulated all markets. And again, there's plenty of information in this document about how the markets are actually manipulated, and they're talking about that happening in Bitcoin and Ethereum, and I don't doubt it. But the good news for us as retail traders and professionals is we can spot in the volume what's actually going on. Okay, so the concept was simple. In 2016, our head of technology, Grigory Margolin, showed me the latest development of a product to be used in a hedge fund called Smart Center Pro. The concept was simple. Find trade setups based on Wyckoff volume spread analysis that are in harmony with the trend of multiple timeframes using the proprietary tools in the Trade Guider software toolset. At the launch of Smart Center Pro, which was live at the CME Group headquarters, that's the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, in downtown Chicago in 2016 in October, we were able to demonstrate live trading using the system, using timeframes starting with weekly, daily, 4-hour, hourly, 15, 5 and 1 minute charts. This was by far the most successful launch of any Trade Guider software product in the 18 years since we started the business. The new TopBot strategy for Smart Center Pro was developed on a conversation I had with one of our long-standing and valued customers, Mr. Nick Cowan, Managing Director of the Gibraltar Stock Exchange. As I write this, the Gibraltar Stock Exchange has launched the Crypto Harbor, which is already a world-leading token sale platform and a cryptocurrency exchange, and I might add, which I will be trading on. During a conversation with Nick about Wyckoff VSA analysis for cryptocurrencies, I had an aha moment. So for details and to listen to the interview with Nick, it's really worth going and have a look at that. It's in the document. I'm not going to play all of it to you, but there is an interview with him where he talks about the future of exchange-traded cryptocurrencies and what they call ICOs, initial coin offerings. It's fascinating stuff, and I'm going to help you all today because I'm going to give you a document that gives you some background into what the crypto world is, but it doesn't unfortunately teach you how to trade it. But that's something I've been practicing now since I met with Nick, and we discussed this all 8-9 months ago now, and it's fascinating, as I'll show you. Nick was, apart from being managing director at Bear Stearns for 5 years, so he's a pretty good trader, he was one of the first users of the Smart Center Pro trading platform and discovered the most important VSA signals include the end of a rising market and bag holding. I repeat, the end of a rising market and bag holding. Now, I'm not going to read the rest of this document to you, but I can tell you that I'm going to teach this principle to you today. But I'm going to teach it in such a way that I'm going to show you it from the moment it alerted me to what the market did bar by bar and where the market ended up. And what you're going to see here is in this document, it talks about the whole concept of what we call TopBot. We have two versions of TopBot. TopBot Mini, which is what I use today. I didn't need to use the Smart Center Pro version. But you can use TopBot in Smart Center Pro, and it has a lot more features in there. And I'm going to explain that for those of you who've been asking me questions. What's the difference? We've put together a new web page which will show you that. Okay, so it's absolutely down to you. It's down to whether you consider yourself to be a professional trader, a retail trader, an institutional trader, because I know we've got some people in here today from UBS. So you could be from any of those different arenas, but we've got something in our packages which will help you to make good trading decisions. So what is the concept? To identify trading opportunities by finding unusually high volume on the chart. We call that climactic action, and alert the trader when they happen in the time frames that are being monitored. Now, you've just heard a little bell go off in the background. That is an alert. That's coming from Smart Center Pro. From the scanners, however, I'm able to get alerts via email. So I can use my email system to actually get alerts, and it's perfectly suitable for getting the alerts on these climactic bars. And then we want to show a change in trend in the smaller time frames, which I'm going to show you today, using the VSA proprietary volume thermometer and short-term diamond dot trending system, which measures trend of price based on bullish versus bearish volume. Then, once we see the principle, we alert the trader. The software does it, as I'll show you. But most importantly, this system can monitor hundreds and hundreds of charts. Okay, and if you've got more than one version of the software, so you could, because per license, you could manage, I think, 5 chart books with about 5 charts open in them. I think it's about 125 charts. But of course, if you're using what I'm doing, which I've got multiple licenses of the Trade Guider program on my 4 computers, I can monitor literally nearly 1,000 charts. Not difficult to do. Do I want to trade all of those? No. But I do want to know when the biggest and the most highest probability indicators appear. They're the ones I'm sniffing out. They're the ones I'm looking for. And then, of course, we want to provide the alert when it actually happens. And then, because of the way the software is developed, you will see information coming in bar by bar on each of the indicators. And if you click on them, they're not buy and sell signals on their own, but this document gives you the rules to turn it into a system that gives you very defined entries and exits based on rules. And this, again, is one of our top-selling software programs now for that exact reason, that it comes with a software. It doesn't just come with a piece of software with a green and red indicator in it. It comes with a specific strategy. Now, I can see some people have asked a few questions. Okay. Alvin, hello. Would volume spread analysis work given the popularity of dark pools? A great question, and it does. Because what we're charting is the exchange volume. We're not charting the dark pools at all. They're not trading on the exchanges. They're trading amongst themselves. So it doesn't affect any of our analysis whatsoever. But I've been asked that many, many times. Does the Wyckoff talk about bag holding in one of his books? It didn't come from Wyckoff, I don't believe. I think that was Tom's original indicator. I've never seen in Wyckoff books the word bag holding. Someone may correct me on that, but I've read a lot of the books and I've never seen that. But Tom, I think Tom came up with the name of it because he laughed when he said, well, when the market's collapsing, at some point the professionals open their bag and start buying everything. So they basically open the bag, absorb everything. They say, well, we're taking it all, we're buying it, and then the market rallies. So I'm not sure that's necessarily a Wyckoff term. Certainly many of the things we use that I'm going to use today, like the upthrust, like no demand, all of those things, testing, that's very Wyckoffian, and everything is based on Wyckoff. Very interesting, Al. Okay, so first and foremost, the question was coming in, why would we talk to the institutional money, like the big players in the markets at the moment, and why are they talking to us? Well, because we have a very serious piece of software, and believe it or not, and this is something I was shocked at, a lot of these big institutions don't look at volume at all, and they've now become interested. But that's not going to affect very much, and I'll tell you why. Because as soon as an institution moves into the market, we can see what's going on in the volume. And the fact of the matter is there's so many different time frames to trade and so many different markets. This is why we've produced a tool that is just helping the individual trader, because that's what these big institutions are. They're individuals looking at a screen. And it's the same for the retail trader. And if you listen to what Nick has got to say on this subject, and again, he managed 2,500 traders when he was at Bear Stearns. When he left the smart money world and went to trade on his own account, he began to find it very, very difficult. And that's the reason he came across the Wyckoff method, and he's been a customer of ours for 8 years. And to say, one of the first users of the software I'm about to show you. So let me explain to you what we're going to be looking at here. All right. So first and foremost, I'm going to put up a chart. Can you all tell me when you can see an MT5 chart here of BTC USD 2-minute chart? Can everyone see that? This is the BTC chart. Can everyone see that? I'll just wait for a few yeses because I want to. Yep. Okay, good. All right. Yes. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about on this chart is actually what happened up here, and then what happened down here and down here, because they're all part of the system. Now, Bitcoin went up, as we can see, on this 2-minute chart, and we then suddenly have one of our indicators appear. It's one of our strong ones, and that sends an email alert to us. What do you all notice about the volume on that indicator compared to the volume on the bars behind it? What do you notice about the volume, which is at the bottom of the screen there, compared to those other indicators behind it? Just type it in. Just want to see what you see. Yao Ming, massive, ultra high, enormous. Engulfing bar, says someone. Okay, that's exactly what it is. It's the first phase of distribution. And then they do exactly the same thing on this bar. They trap the unwary. But what I want you to notice here is in the system, the second that that indicator appeared and it began to roll over here, we had what we call trend alignment in all of the systems, which are explained, by the way, in the document, that these short-term trending systems, medium-term trending system, and volume thermometer are confirming, because they've all turned red, that the market's turned bearish. And then down we come. This black box appears, and then this second one appears. What do you want? There's a reason for it. It's completely, the reason it's there, I'll explain in a minute. What do you notice about the spread, which is the high and the low of each of these bars, over the next 30, 35 minutes after these boxes were hit? So it appeared when they were actually forming. What do you notice about the range of them? It's really important. And the range of a bar, as we refer to it, is the high and the low of the price bar. So this will be considered to be a wide range or a wide spread. What do you notice about the spreads on these bars? Very, very important, this. Well, Nick says there's no range at all. There wasn't. And the software is detecting at that price level, the battle between the supply and the demand was becoming equilibrium, meaning there's going to be a breakout. There has to be a breakout. Okay? And because we were in a downtrend with weakness in the background, the probability of a downward movement was much, much higher than the market going up. And of course, then we have here something I've written about in my book. Can anyone tell me what that bar there is? I've written about it in my book. It begins with a G. Gotcha. That's a gotcha bar. And whilst it has 2 green indicators on it, this next bar here is a test and it fails. Now, as we move forward through this setup, what do you think would be the highest probability to go short? What indicator, having just given you a clue on it, type it in, what indicator would we look for to get short? And this works in Forex, by the way, John. It absolutely works in Forex. In fact, I'm monitoring all of these Forex pairs right now. Absolutely works in Forex. You see this all the time. Right. So most of you typed in here, and this is where you're going to be a bit surprised. You said no demand, that would be good. Nothing wrong with that. Up thrusts, that would be fine as well. But at the beginning, I mentioned the most powerful indicator in the software, when it appears anywhere, but especially in a downtrend, will move the market. What do you think that indicator is? And it's not an up thrust, it's not no demand. It's a narrow spread. It's a rare indicator, but they do come in. So, ladies and gentlemen, what do you notice about the volume on this bar here that I'm pointing at? Right here. What do you notice about the volume on this bar? Huge, massive. It's the highest of the session. Now, this is what you're going to learn here today. What do you notice about the range or the spread of that bar? And it's got two other indicators after it, funnily enough, which confirm it. What do you notice about the range? On that very high volume, what do we notice about the range and the closing price? Have a look at it. This is how you're going to make money in the market. This is bread and butter. And it happens all the time in Forex. You get a lot of these. These happen a lot the end of a rising market at the tops. They're quite unusual to see them in a downtrend like this. But if we left click on it, there's our friend. The market's trended down. It's got a trap up move in the background. And there is sign of weakness 5. Now, when that appeared, I got an email onto my smartphone. And it looks a bit like that. Looks exactly like that. That was it. So the software, the second it closed, the bar closed, I knew exactly what instrument it was on. I knew exactly it was -5, which is the end of a rising market. I went straight to the chart. There's weakness in the background. The market here was considerably weak. Questions come in from Steve there. How many alerts do you get in a typical trading session? Well, I usually only trade for 3 hours a day. Today it's been a little bit longer, but if I put the inbox up and I just refresh it, these are all the alerts that have come in. Okay, so just since we've been on air here, but just before we, while we've started, we've had 3. Throughout the day today, since I opened my computer, so down here, it's probably be somewhere in the region of 50 alerts, of which 2 were end of a rising market and 1 was bag holding. So those are the ones you go and trade. So the software, that's what this. Someone asking me, well, do I need trading software like this, Gavin? It's entirely up to you. You can go manually and search for all of these things. Have fun. I did when I started trading, and the reason we developed this is so we know exactly when we get a setup like this. Now, watch what happens. Over here, some of you said, well, if you then saw the next indicator in a downtrend, and you've got end of a rising market behind you, you have got there a serious sign of weakness, because now the market has tried to go up, but there's no volume there. It's dried up, or it's less than the previous 2 bars, so you have no demand. So what we'll now do, Razwan says, what's the difference between the study alert and there is no difference, Razwan, they're the same thing. It's just called something different. It's a trade guide alert. Don't worry what it's called in the email. It's just called a study alert. It's basically a trade guide alert. That's what it is. So now what happens? We start to move forward. And what happens? We get another gotcha bar. We move back up. Now here's your end of a rising market. Okay. In the end of a rising market signal appears, the stop would go at the previous gotcha bar. So it would be at that level at 8104. Now watch what happens here as we move forward in price action. The market continues to trend down. It has a mini correction. Then there's another trap up move. Then there's another trap up move, and it makes a lower low. So from where we've seen here, the end of a rising market followed by no demand. Let's just remind ourselves what it is. End of a rising market, no demand. Another gotcha bar here. We make what I look for to confirm I'm going to stay short is lower lows. So there's the first lower low, the second lower low, and the third lower low. And now we make another lower low. Then we start to try to accumulate. They mark it back up again, and we make another lower low, another lower low. You getting me? Right, so if you're still short here, in this situation, you can see now there's another lower low, another lower low. End of a rising market, ladies and gentlemen, is a very serious setup. And if you only today from this webinar take that and the no demand bar straight afterwards out and say, right, I'm just going to go and look for those, Gavin. I don't want to learn all the VSA indicators. I just want to go and learn that. And I want to find 10 of those a week. And you will find them. And I'm monitoring not just all of these Forex pairs that you see at the bottom here. If you come down, you can see here, we've got British pound, we've got the euro, we've got the euro GBP, we've got the Aussie USD, we've got the New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen. All of these are sending me alerts, every single one of these instruments. And you'll notice that the time frames that I'm using here in the scanner, if I put up the actual Smart Center Pro scanner, we can put the scanner manager up, but I'll put the Smart Center Pro software on and let's show you that. So in the Smart Center Pro version, I'm monitoring all of these different time frames. So anytime I get an alert in any of these time frames, which are the main ones that I use, and if I put the settings up, you'll see that the indicators I'm looking for are all what we call climactic indicators, which means they're massive volume indicators, which is why we call this strategy TopBot, because it's actually looking for market turning points. And if you then get the confirmation signals thereafter, even stronger, even stronger. And probability wise, the end of a rising market and bag holding have an extremely high probability of turning the market, even in a 2-minute time frame, like I just showed you. And we can show you multiple examples on 1-minute charts where those massive volume bars, when they appear, will turn the market. And that's what every trader wants to know. Where is the distribution happening? If it's the end of a rising market, it's going to be on an up bar when they distribute. I saw one in gold earlier on this morning before gold began to rally. It was on a 1-minute chart. So let's just have a quick look at some of the questions before I move on. Is it uncommon to have end of a rising market in a downtrend? Yes, it's unusual. It's not. I wouldn't call it uncommon. It's unusual. Yeah, Winston, to answer your question, and I know you're very experienced with us, I'd say 80% of the time, possibly 85%, the end of a rising market signal will appear in an uptrending market and will mark a turning point. About 15% of the time, like we've just seen today, it actually appears in a downtrend. And when we look at it, the relevance to it is the narrow spread. That's the key to it. The narrow spread. Lack saying, do I check another time frame, sir? Yeah, I absolutely do, Lack. Absolutely. I will jump from different time frames. So if I've got an alert on a 2-minute chart, like in Bitcoin there, I'll move out to, say, a 15-minute chart and just see if this looks like it's got room to move down. So I come up here in MT5, I click on my 15-minute chart. Takes a bit of time to load. It'll come through and it'll give me a bigger overview of what the market's actually doing there. So over here, you can see on a 15-minute chart that right in the background before the big move, we had exactly the same indicators confirming what we saw on the 2-minute chart were happening on the bigger time frame. And if you put the hourly chart up, you can see where the weakness is again. Okay, so we've got a clear treble top here, here, and here. That it really is as straightforward as looking for that type of evidence to say the market has now broken the support level, which was found here. That was where support was. They marked it up. That's why Bitcoin's come back down today. Yes, you can change the timeframes in Smart Center Pro. You can completely, by the way, customize this to whatever timeframes you want. As the lowest you can go is a 1-minute chart, but you could go up to monthly charts if you wish to. But I think MT5 is limited, certainly weekly, daily. You don't need any more than the weekly. Really, the time frame that I tend to use the most if I'm scalping is the 5-minute chart combined with the 1-minute chart. If you look at the 1-minute chart of this, you'll see where it picks up the moves, and the trending system was very, very good on a 1-minute chart. You know, it picks up the support levels, down here, and it picks up the distribution levels. So you can still use this in a 1 minute time frame. If you don't want to be in the market, let me just move it to the right edge of the chart. Bear with me. Just jump to the right edge here. That's it. So yeah, so just here, 1 minute chart, while we've been on air, okay, in the coin here, weakness, another indicator that sends alerts. So let me just have a look. Does trade go to work anything called swing? Not yet, it doesn't, Bill, but we are definitely working on that. We are definitely going to work on that at some point. Black says, well, the initial software that I was using was TopBot Mini, but I've switched it over to Smart Center Pro right now, just to give you an example there. Peter's asking, do we have a trading history for at least a year to prove the profitability? The answer to your question is we are starting a fund to do exactly that, because we're not registered at the moment. And so what we're doing, we're actually doing exactly that. And we're in negotiations at the moment with the Gibraltar Stock Exchange to start a cryptocurrency fund. And that's very, very exciting if that will happen. But also, we didn't run our own fund. We've been running a private fund with our own funds, but it's not public. So the results are not publicly available. And what we want to do, and we will be doing, is registering either in the Gibraltar, that's what we're probably going to do, in fact. And then we'll be producing our results on a quarterly basis, not a yearly basis. So they'll be produced quarterly and they'll be public, Peter, yes, to answer your question. Yes. But as I've said, one of the things I always say to people with this is, if you want to learn to manage your own money, then performances of other people is all well and good. But are you going to be able to get the same performance with your experience and your levels? I believe with our training, you can certainly improve. And again, I've met a lot of customers who've been through our training programs. Some who've gone on to become fund managers. Some have gone on to trade in professional funds. And as long as you understand the truth about the markets, how they operate, they're marked up deliberately. Now, I'll show you a chart here of gold, because I think we could have something. This, by the way, was Bitcoin futures contract. Okay, and I was using the futures contract to look at the timing of the end of a rising market to see if the futures market actually starts to move in harmony with the spot. And you know something? It does. It absolutely does. And there is the supply entering the market and the market fall in coin. Went all the way down here to make a low of 80.90 in the futures market. I believe it's recovered a bit since then. Yeah, not much, but it made lower lows. So there's your weakness on the, this is a 2 minute chart again, and you make a lower low, a lower low, and a lower low. Okay, just looking at gold again. Bear with me. Okay, so can you all see the chart now on the other screen here of gold? Can you see the chart of gold? Sorry, which contract are you talking about there, Charles? Were you talking about the BTC? I checked that this morning, and that's definitely the correct one for the moment. Yes, Steve, I will look at the NASDAQ quickly as well before I take some questions. Absolutely. Now, this is the setup in gold right now. So we've actually got a very serious sign of weakness that's appeared on this bar, which we can see. Yeah. Yeah, just so you know, Charles, the BTC contract is still quite thinly traded, especially on the CME. It's still very thinly traded. There's not a lot of volume on it at the moment. It's picking up quite a bit actually, as some of the bigger players come in. Now, what we've got at the moment on this instrument is a very clear indicator. And if I highlight it, it's the trap, just like we saw in Bitcoin. It knocked the market down, but then they're whipsawing it in here. Now, they do that for a reason, okay? Because what they want to do is catch all the breakout traders from the top here who go long on that bar, catch them out, and then if they get them stopped out with these wide-ranging bars, the move can continue. So here's how I'm going to trade this, and I may well take the trade very shortly. You mark the low of the bar. So we know the low is around 12.28, approximately 12.28.2. We then jump down to the smaller time frames to look for a change in behavior and look for any signs of weakness to confirm this. So here we've got the first sign of weakness at the top. Here. We've then got a secondary sign of weakness. We've then definitely got no demand there. It knocks the market sideways. We get more supply. But notice here, that is going to be untradeable at the moment because they've marked it up. They've taken their positions. And the last indicator here at 12.31 was confirming the supply coming into this market. Keith says, you're showing Sierra Charts and MetaTrader. Are they two separate products or sold together? We can sell them together as a package, Keith, yes, by doing a double license. And I can show you where you can find out more about that. But they are two separate packages, yes. They're two separate pieces of software. So the answer to your question is yes, they are two pieces of different software. But certainly we can actually combine them into a package, and I can show you where you can, well, you'll be able to get a quote on that if you wish to. Daniel, hi. Is that gold chart doesn't prove the market's rigged? Nothing will. Yeah. Well, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, exactly my point. Yes, I totally agree with you. Now, the 2 minute and the 1 minute chart, they're starting to roll right now. So what we've got is you've got your supply. You've got more supply, but it's not yet moved. Now, what we're looking for to take a trade to the short side, I certainly wouldn't want to be long right now, but here I'm looking for a widespread down bar, taking out these two areas here, and then a no demand bar, which is a low volume up bar into this area. And then we'll be looking, I've been short on gold several times in the last few weeks, and it's deliberately marked up, and if you can spot it, you can do very, very well. You can certainly make money. Now, the NASDAQ, someone's asked me to look at because they saw my YouTube video on that. Okay, great. Right, okay. So which chart number was it? It was the 30. Sorry, you said the 60. Sorry, the 60. Well, I mean, it's funny enough, I was doing a mentorship session actually yesterday with one of our very good customers who's in the room here, and I talked about a short, and I took a couple of shorts on the NASDAQ, and I caught, there's quite a few moves actually yesterday down to make this new low, but then if you don't believe the markets are manipulated, look at what they've just done. All right, so there's more supply hit, and you're asking how to trade it. Very simple. I've got it set in my Smart Center Pro, which I'll put up now, and basically what will happen here and it's the same with all of these. There's a lot of congestion in some of these markets at the moment, but when they all start to turn red on the smaller time frames, a bit like the bonds have done here, all right, so the bonds has turned over. There was some shorts in bonds earlier today. There was the trap up move here, and then everything turned to the negative side. Now I'm getting quite a lot of questions, so let me just do this. These come from either the scanners, they come from the scanners in the software, which comes with our base charting package. And we have something called TopBot Mini, which basically allows you to, and it comes pre-programmed with the indicators and the rules to just look for those end of a rising market type signals. Let's just see if we've seen any live as we've been on air. Let's just quickly go through some of these. Yes, if you just wanted, yeah, there we go. There's another sign of weakness on the Bitcoin. 122 is weakness has appeared, John. It's quite common. So you get the I beg your pardon. That's a reversal. So it's a 2-bar reversal. That's a sign of strength. Yeah, nothing much there at the moment. We'll monitor it and see what comes through. Right, let's just see if there's any more questions. Okay. All right, so Bitcoin, just looking at this here, there's the weakness, which is 121, which is one that alerts, and it's just gapped down now back into this area. So still looking weak, still looking like it wants to come down lower. Yep, I'll certainly look at the euro. Let me do that in a second. Is that euro futures, John, or euro spot? Okay. Let's go to the 15-minute chart. Oh, yes, I see what you're saying. Yep. Right at the top. There it was. Yeah. 126. Yeah, you got it. You bought the software last week, I believe, didn't you? So, yeah, all right. So you just took the short. Is it in here, or did you go to the smaller time frame, like we said in the... Yeah, okay. So if you jump down to the 5-minute, yeah, which is exactly what I would do, you'll see the change in behaviour and the double top. Yeah, okay, great. Yeah, dead on. There it is. There's the double, and there's the third red diamond, which we talk about, and we're making the lower lows, which we've talked about as well. So that's all there. And the black box just appeared. Yeah. Thank you for that. That's a good one to actually analyse. Yeah, Gary. Yeah, because that's coming off a little bit. Yeah, it's certainly not looking particularly bullish. Right, I will show you that. A couple of questions have come in about the cryptocurrencies. So let me give you this document. So this is an article on Forbes. It's a very good article. So I'm not going to read it because I haven't got time. But I will post it in the room into the chat area now. There's a link to that. There it is. And basically, that article will give you a very, very good background as to why this industry is the next internet by far. And it is, and that's why it's all over the news. I know that I believe Bill Gates has invested, Richard Branson, some of the big smart money players are getting involved. Now, another thing you can do is have a look at this interview. Again, I won't play it right now, but well, actually, no, I will, because it's relevant. It is relevant to what's about to happen. And I think you'll see over the coming 3 months some major changes that's going on in the blockchain industry. And this is led really by this man who's our customer. This is Nick Cowan. And Nick has the first regulated coin out in Gibraltar called Rockcoin, and they're looking to do a number of token offerings. But if you look at what he says here about the future of the coin, you want to start being aware of it, because it could be a very big investment opportunity if you get in at the right time. And that's the key to all of these things, trying to get in at the right time. The bubble in coin ended at Christmas of last year when it was at 20,000 in Bitcoin and it collapsed down. But we know that there'll be indications of buying at lower prices if people think that coin in the next 5 years or even sooner can go back up there. So have a quick listen to what Nick says, and then I'm going to answer. It's only a 4-minute video, then I'll answer all your questions.
So how will this work?
We're taking everything that we understand about running a traditional stock exchange and applying it to a space where currently there are no rules. So we've seen a huge explosion in token generation events, ICOs, whatever you want to call them. $3 billion raised this year. It seems to be a great way for startups and fintechs to actually access funds. But currently there's no legislation anywhere and no rules anywhere, although we think that's set to change pretty soon as you go into 18. So what we've come up with, we've said, okay, let's open an exchange called the Gibraltar Blockchain Exchange. It's a subsidiary of the Gibraltar Stock Exchange, and let's take all the stuff that we understand about investor protection, reputational risk, and try to apply some of those to this nascent technology in this nascent space. So, for example, what keeps us awake? Investor protection. So we want to, first of all, ensure that ICO issuers know where they can go, in theory, to get their trusted network and token sale away. So if you come to our exchange, the first thing you're going to have is a sponsor network. Sponsors are approved by our exchange, and sponsors, if you think about traditional investment banks, sponsors will help you, the issuer, effectively take your token to market. So we've come up with a set of sponsors rules which define who can and can't be a sponsor. And also as a token issuer, what have you got to comply with in terms of disclosure, transparency, due diligence, what has to go in your white paper, everything that we believe currently is missing from this space.
So contracts are about to be traded on CME, CBOE, NASDAQ. How do you expect this to play out?
I think it's a sign that markets are maturing. I think it's what this sector needs. I think if you look at what's happened with the CME, etc., with what they're doing, they're taking Bitcoin and effectively making it more available to the traditional traders where actually you can start to short contracts. I think in terms of the token sale business, that is going to go through a similar process in terms of maturity over the next 2-3 years. I think at the moment it's still very early on in the cycle. If you look at your traditional institutional investors, they can't actually, or they're struggling to get access to invest in tokens because it's not a security as such where your traditional asset class. So again, what we're saying is, look, if you come to our exchange, token sale issuers will have gone through a vetting process based around best practices of disclosure and transparency and also reporting obligations in the secondary market. And you can launch your token and also be guaranteed a listing on our cryptocurrency exchange. So we think it's unique because it's a token sale platform and a cryptocurrency exchange. It's actually managed by a stock exchange, and that's the first in the world.
Yeah, Bill, I saw your comment there, and you're absolutely right. Now, what's interesting here is, you mentioned that the Bitcoin, as soon as the futures contract was launched in the CME, the price was driven down. I think that's exactly what's happened. So I think, there's a lot of people out there who yes, got in at a top there, but we had the end of a rising market signal on the daily chart, and I was actually in a trading competition with the CME, funny enough, when they launched it. And I shorted right before that big move down. So, and it was only a demo account; it wasn't live money, but it was just to trade it. And in fact, Gregory, head of technology, came third in that competition. I think he had a very similar indicator to what I was seeing. VJ Hi says, I subscribed last week and I got bag holding on the 1 minute chart on the Indian market, the Nifty, after which it went 40 points up. I didn't trade because I'm going through the course provided. Can you please brief bag holding trading rules? Yeah, I mean, this is the rules. They're in the TopBot document as it happens. After you see the bag holding signal, you want to see the next bar close higher. And then you want to make 2 higher lows on the price bars after you see it. And then if you see a test, you can go long. A test is a low volume down bar. Sometimes they test the level of the bag holding signal, but most often the market will just do what you saw. It just takes off. So you go, if you don't want to buy into the bag holding signal straight away, which a lot of our customers do, I know if Tom Williams was alive, he would certainly be doing that, then you can indeed be patient and say, well, I'm going to wait for the market to prove to me that it's changed behaviour and it's made 2 high lows on the bar and it's changing trend. But it's exactly like we saw in the end of a rising market here in Bitcoin today. That marked a major turning point. And as we could see, if you look at the bigger time frames in Bitcoin, same thing was evident. There was plenty of weakness all around. I'm just having a look to see what gold's doing. Just bear with me. Starting to roll in gold. So that may be a setup that I could look at as well. Let's just go back. Just what I said with gold. It's starting to push down. And Bitcoin, yeah, same thing. Yeah, well spotted. Someone asked earlier, so I saw a question about, you know, with coin offerings, can you trade the coins during the intraday sessions like today and Scout? Yes, you can. This company I'm with, that I'm showing the charting on, is FX Choice, but you can also go and open your own wallet and buy and sell coins during the day with Coinbase. There's plenty of ways of doing that. But we are going to be teaching that particular strategy in a course that we've put together with Nick, funnily enough. I don't know if it's built the page yet. Yeah, it's here. So if you go to tradeguider.com, the crypto mentorship .asp, myself, Nick and Gregory are putting a course together for the end of September, for which you're all welcome to attend. Well, as part of the course, as you'll read, we will let you have a copy of the TopBot mini software that I showed you with the end of a rising market signal, and you'll get the software for 6 weeks as part of the fee. If you look at the website, it's up here. I will email this to you as well, for those of you that have attended here. It's in September, end of September, for a very good reason, because that's when we think there might be a significant move. But we can't prove it, but it's just a feeling that that's going to be a very busy time. And it says here, you know, digital currencies are volatile. You can't use fundamentals and technicals just on their own. The barrier to entry is low for traders, but there are 1,500 already around the world, and there's going to be a lot more. Richard Branson and Bill Gates, that was correct, made their biggest ever investment in the crypto market, saying the value of the Bitcoin market will grow, bigger than Google and PayPal combined, which I didn't know. And there's currently already 6 million wallets in use around the world. And the chairman of the SEC, Jay Clayton, said the technology on which cryptocurrencies and ICOs are based may prove to be disruptive, transformative, and efficiency enhancing. I'm confident that developments in fintech will help facilitate capital formation and provide promising investment opportunities for institutional and Main Street investors alike. So the course we've put together is a 2-day mentorship course, and it's going to cover everything. It's not just going to be charting. It's going to be what is a blockchain, all the different types of cryptocurrencies that are out there, how we can chart it, looking at something called Rockcoin, which has been launched on Gibraltar. All of the stuff that you're going to learn here and that what we're going to cover is on that webpage, so I won't read it all out. But I'm delighted to say that one of the key presenters over the 2 days is, in fact, Nick, who's launched his own Bitcoin currency, his own coin called Rockcoin. So if anyone knows pretty much everything about this particular new market, then I would say for certain Nick's your man, for certain. And we are giving, as part of this, a 6 weeks use of the software that I just showed you, which searches for bag holding and end of a rising market. And you can use it in Forex, you can use it in the instrument that we give you does stocks as well, because we can provide you with the MT5 package. Or if you want it for another package that you prefer, we can do that too. The reason I happen to like the MT5 is you can actually get, through FX Choice, you do actually get charts for the Bitcoin, charts that I just showed you. Okay. Daniel, hello Dan, good to see you, mate. Yes, I believe the first 3 were definitely recorded. I'll need to go and search them out because I didn't actually convert them. I just recorded them. I believe the last 2 probably were not, because there was a problem with GoToMeeting. In fact, all of the recordings for that 2-week period didn't particularly work. But for the first 3, I think we definitely recorded them, and I'll go and find them for you. I did get an email from AJ about that, but I've just been rushed off my feet. Great. Thank you very much indeed. I appreciate what you just said. That's very kind of you. I'm glad that's working for you. Good. All right. Let me just see if there's any questions. That's the package. Yeah, that's what I've just... If you click on here to the package details, it tells you exactly... takes you to a web page. It tells you exactly what the charting package actually is. The basic package, what it comes with. If you haven't already got it, some of you have already got it. Yeah, if you go to, the page that we've simplified is this one here. If you click on software, it'll take you to the same page. Okay, it gives you an overview of what each of the packages actually are, because we do advanced packages and we do base packages. And again, if you have a look, you can read it. It's all down here. It tells you what all the differences are. We've simplified it, and it tells you exactly what the benefits are of having the top package compared to the base package. But the base package will give you those email alerts for TopBot. And of course, if you've got any questions at all, you can always email my wife Laura at laura@tradeguider.com, or there is so just Laura, always happens that does, laura@tradeguider.com. Oh, now we've got some stuff going on. I knew that would happen. I wanted to keep this to an hour, but we've just gone through the London fix, so there you go. That's her email address. I've just posted it in there. And we did do a promotion on the packages as well over the last 2 days, and we can still extend that for another 24 hours for those of you that had emailed and asked because you didn't see the email. Just email Laura and let's say I'm interested in XYZ, and she'll be able to assist you. All right, let's have a quick look, see what's going on. Okay, well, the NASDAQ looks weak now at the moment. Nothing happening yet on gold. Not rolling. Not a lot of movement on the fix. So nothing much happening there. Probably waiting to make its move tomorrow, I suspect. And then in coin, finally, yeah, it's had its big move down today from that end of a rising market indicator, and the weakness up here has just knocked it down even further to a new low. Good. All right. I think that's... don't worry, Anne. I'm going to put it on... Or Amir, sorry. I'm going to put it on YouTube. So it'll go out on YouTube and you'll be emailed it. Yeah. Hello, Jerry. Lovely to see you. Yeah. Don't worry. I'm going to put this on YouTube. Okay. So it'll be going on. Well, I wanted to keep it to an hour for that exact reason. Aussie AUD. Let's see if there's something going on that. Yeah, it's got some big volume coming in on this right now. So that's definitely been marked up. That's a 15-minute chart. Just at the fix here. They've just marked it up. So again, what we would look for now is a change in behaviour in the market, red diamonds to come in, a breakdown in price. Let's go out just one more time frame. I'm just going to go to the hourly. In fact, I'll do the 5-minute first. Yeah, that looks... Nothing. I just say on this one at the moment, there's nothing I would say that's obvious to trade that. Just so you know. Right, okay, Bill, if you're using Sierra charts, this works with Sierra charts as well. No problem. Okay, so our TopBot program works with Sierra charts. Absolutely fine. No problem. Yeah. So if you need to contact, just contact my wife Laura. Bill and I can obviously give you a call, or one of the team can. Also, there's a live chat area on the front page of the site. If you go to the site, click on software, it also goes to live chat. But my wife's email, I'll put it in here again. It's really easy. It's just Laura, Laura, at TradeGuider, all one word, at TradeGuider.com. Just Laura at TradeGuider.com. Good. All right, everyone. Okay, so Al, yes, it will. To answer your question, it will. But you can get, I believe, you can get it in MT4 as well. So yes, you will be able to do that. To answer your question, that's a pleasure. No worries. Good. All right then. Again, just a quick reminder: if you wanted to get a copy of the article, I'll post it in the room. It's in the chat area, and this is the. I'll just put it into the chat window again for those of you that didn't see it. That's the article right there. And then for details on Gibraltar Stock Exchange and what they're doing, the full interview, they've got some other interviews there as well with Nick, which are quite good. He's just down there. We will email you out details of the mentorship course. So you will get that in the next probably hour or two. I'll put it in the email once I've got the YouTube video up. So thank you very much indeed, everybody. Hope you've enjoyed it today. We've kept it just over an hour, which is good. And again, if you've got any questions about our products or services, let us know. We'll get in touch with you. Take care, everybody. God bless. Good trading. Bye-bye.